Admiral Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the UES Defiance, looking out at the black space ahead. The stars looked normal today, just like they had for the past 3 years since he became admiral, but something was different. The ship's sensors were picking up strange readings from the edge of the solar system. "Sir, we have incoming ships," said Lieutenant Commander Lisa Hayes from her station. Her voice was calm, but Jake could hear the excitement in it. "Lots of them." Jake walked over to the main screen. What he saw made him whistle softly. Hundreds of ships were appearing out of nowhere, like someone was turning on lights in a dark room. These weren't human ships. They were long and thin, made of what looked like crystal or glass. They glowed with a soft blue light that pulsed like a heartbeat. "How many?" Jake asked. "Still counting, sir." "Over 500 and climbing," reported Communications Officer Ryan Peters. He was a young man, fresh out of the academy, and his eyes were wide with amazement. The alien ships moved in perfect formation, like a school of fish swimming through space. They were beautiful in a way that made Jake's chest feel tight. He had seen pictures of alien ships before, but never this many, and never this close to Earth. "Are they trying to talk to us?" Jake asked. Ryan nodded quickly. "Yes, sir. They're sending a message on all frequencies. It's interesting. Put it through." The main screen changed to show a creature that looked like it was made of living light trapped inside a crystal shell. Its voice was like music, but sad music, like a song played at a funeral. "Greetings, creatures of the third planet," the alien said. "I am High Council Speaker Vex Thara of the Kethraki Confederation. For 3,000 years we have maintained the sacred balance of the galaxy. We have kept peace among all worlds." Jake looked at Lisa, who was trying not to smile. The alien continued talking. "Your species has broken the ancient laws. You have spread to worlds that were not meant for you. You have disturbed the harmony that has existed since before your star was born." "What laws?" Jake muttered. "Nobody told us about any laws." The alien's crystal shell glowed brighter. "The Kethraki Confederation hereby declares war upon the human species. You will surrender all your colony worlds. You will return to your birth planet and never leave again. You will submit to our judgment." Ryan looked at Jake with wide eyes. "Sir, what do we do?" Jake was quiet for a moment. Then he started to laugh. It started as a small chuckle, but it grew louder and louder until he was holding his sides. Lisa joined in, then Ryan, then Navigation Officer Kelly Martinez. Soon the whole bridge was filled with laughter. "Sir?" Lisa asked between giggles. "Should we respond?" Jake wiped tears from his eyes. "Oh yes, we should definitely respond." He straightened his uniform and looked at the screen. "This is Admiral Jake Morrison of the United Earth Space Force. We thank you for your, declaration of war. That's very nice of you." The alien looked confused. Its crystal shell flickered like a broken light bulb. Jake continued, "But we're kind of busy right now. We're having a pizza party on Deck 7, and someone brought homemade cookies. Maybe you could come back next week? We'll pencil you in. You mock us?" The alien said, its voice rising like a storm wind. "Mock you?" No, no, no," Jake said, waving his hand. "We're not mocking you. We're having a hard time taking this seriously. I mean, you show up here talking about sacred balance and 3,000 years of peace, and then you declare war on us because we built some cities on empty planets. It's like getting angry at someone for planting flowers in their own garden." Kelly Martinez spoke up from her station. "Sir, I'm reading more ships, a lot more. They're bringing everything they have." "How many is everything?" Jake asked. "Over 10,000 ships, sir. Some of them are really big. I mean, really, really big." Jake looked at the screen again. The alien was talking to other crystals behind it, making sounds like wind chimes in a hurricane. "Admiral Morrison," the alien said, its voice cold now. "You do not understand. We are the Kethraki. We have ruled the galaxy for longer than your species has existed. We have weapons that can crack planets like eggs. We have ships that can fold space itself. We are not some minor threat to be laughed at." Jake nodded seriously. "I'm sure you are very powerful. I'm sure you have amazing weapons and ships. But here's the thing, double quote, and smiled. We're human. We once had a war that started because someone shot an archduke. We had another war because someone painted a mustache on a painting. We had a food fight in our own Congress building. We don't really do fear very well. Lisa was reading her console. Sir, Earth Defense Command is asking for orders. They want to know if we should prepare for battle. Tell them to prepare for a barbecue, Jake said, and ask someone to bring marshmallows. The alien's crystal shell was flashing now like an angry disco ball. You cannot be serious. We offer you the chance to surrender with honor. We offer you a place in our empire as servants. This is more than any species has ever been offered. That's very generous, Jake said, but we already have jobs. Lisa here is an excellent officer. Ryan makes great coffee. Kelly knows every star. In this part of the galaxy, we're good, thanks. You will regret this decision, the alien said. Our fleet will reach your world in 6 hours. You will see the power of the Kefraki. 6 hours? Jake looked at his watch. Perfect, that gives you time to set up the welcome party. The alien made a sound like breaking glass and cut the connection. The screen went back to showing the alien fleet, which was now moving toward Earth. Sir, Ryan said quietly, are we really going to fight them with barbecue? Jake sat down in his captain's chair and smiled. Ryan, let me tell you something about humans. We're not the strongest species in the galaxy. We're not the smartest. We're not the fastest. But we have something that no other species has. What's that, sir? We have the ability to look at something scary and say, hold my beer. Jake stood up and walked to the window. Besides, anyone who breaks 3,000 years of peace just because someone else is having fun probably needs to learn how to relax. Lisa was typing on her console. Sir, I'm getting reports from all over the system. Our colonies are throwing parties. Mars is having a festival. The Luna City mayor declared today a holiday. Nobody seems worried. Of course they're not worried, Jake said. They're human. We don't worry about things we can't control. We just throw a party and see what happens. Kelly looked up from her station. Sir, the alien fleet is getting closer. They're moving really fast. Good, Jake said. The faster they get here, the sooner we can introduce them to Earth culture. I bet they've never had a hot dog. The bridge crew looked at each other and started laughing again. Outside the window, the alien fleet grew larger and more threatening with each passing minute. But inside the UES Defiance, the only sound was human laughter echoing through the corridors. Jake looked at his crew and smiled. Well, people, looks like we're about to make some new friends. Lisa, send a message to Earth. Tell them to prepare for visitors, and tell them to make extra sandwiches. How many extra sandwiches, sir? Jake looked at the screen showing thousands of alien ships, all of them. Make all the sandwiches. Captain Danny Rodriguez was having a good day. His cargo ship, the New Orleans, was carrying the best load he had ever transported. The hold was full of Colombian coffee beans, Carolina hot sauce, and chocolate bars bound for the mining colonies in the asteroid belt. The pay was good, the route was safe, and his co-pilot Maria Santos had brought homemade cookies from her grandmother's recipe. Danny, you need to see this, Maria said from her seat at the navigation console. She was pointing at the scanner screen with a cookie in her hand. We have company. Danny looked up from his coffee cup and saw 12 massive ships surrounding them. They were the same crystal-looking ships that had been on the news feeds all morning, the alien ones that had declared war on humanity. Well, that's interesting, Danny said, taking another sip of coffee. They're pretty, aren't they? Pretty and probably dangerous, Maria replied. What do we do? First we finish our coffee. Then we see what they want. The communication system crackled to life. A voice like singing crystal filled the small bridge of the cargo ship. Attention, primitive vessel. This is Fleet Commander Zelthara of the Kethraki Advance Fleet. You will surrender your ship immediately and prepare for judgment. Danny and Maria looked at each other. Danny pressed the communication button. This is Captain Danny Rodriguez of the merchant vessel New Orleans. Did you just call us primitive? You are an inferior species, the alien voice replied. Your technology is basic, your ships are crude. Your civilization is young and foolish, Danny laughed. Buddy, we invented pizza. We created rock and roll music. We figured out how to make beer. Taste good. If that's primitive, I don't want to be advanced. Maria was trying not to giggle. She covered her mouth with her hand, but her eyes were bright with laughter. You dare mock the mighty Kethraki? The alien's voice was getting higher, like an angry flute. We have ruled the galaxy for 3,000 years. We have conquered worlds beyond counting. We are the masters of space and time itself. That's nice, Danny said. But right now, I'm the master of this coffee cup, and it's empty. Maria, could you pour me some more? Sure thing, Captain. Maria got up and walked to the small kitchen area. The alien ships were still floating around them, but she moved like she was in her own living room. Human creature, the alien said. You do not understand your situation. You are surrounded by ships that could destroy you with a single thought. You should be begging for mercy. I'm not really the begging type, Danny said. But I'll tell you what. If you want to destroy us, you'll have to wait until after my coffee break. I haven't had my second cup yet, and I'm useless without it. There was a long silence. Then the alien spoke again, and now its voice sounded confused. Coffee break? Yeah. Coffee break. It's a human thing. We stop what we're doing and drink coffee for a few minutes. Sometimes we eat cookies too. Maria's grandmother makes the best cookies in the solar system. You are in the presence of the Kethraki War fleet and you want to drink coffee? Well, yeah. The coffee's getting cold, and that would be a real tragedy. This is premium Colombian beans, grown in the mountains of South America. It took months to get here, and I'm not going to let it go to waste because some aliens want to have a fight. Maria came back with a fresh cup of coffee and handed it to Danny. Should I make some for our visitors? She asked. That's a great idea. How many of you are there? Danny asked the alien. How many of us are there? The alien's voice was getting more confused. We are a fleet of 12 battle cruisers with crews of 2,000 each. So, 24,000 cups of coffee. That's a lot, but I think we can manage it. We'll have to use the emergency supplies. You want to give us coffee? Sure, why not? You came all this way to meet us. The least we can do is be good hosts. Danny could hear other alien voices in the background, talking in their musical language. It sounded like they were arguing about something. Human, the alien said slowly, we did not come here to drink coffee. We came here to capture you and take you back to our fleet for questioning. Questioning about what? About your species' plans for galactic domination. Danny nearly choked on his coffee. Galactic domination? Are you serious? Do you know what our big plan for today was? We were going to deliver coffee and hot sauce to some miners, then maybe watch a movie, that's it. But your species has been expanding across the galaxy. You have built colonies on dozens of worlds. Yeah, because we need places to live. And some of those worlds have really good fishing. Do you guys like fishing? Fishing? You know, sitting by a lake with a pole and a line, trying to catch fish. It's very relaxing. I bet you would like it. Maria was looking at the scanner. Danny, more ships are coming. Big ones. How big? Really big. Like city-sized big. Danny pressed the communication button again. Hey, Zelthara, are those your friends? Those are our main battleships. They will be here in 1 hour. Great, that gives us time to heat up some of those chocolate bars. I bet you've never had chocolate before. What is chocolate? Oh, you are in for a treat. It's this sweet brown stuff that makes everything better. We have 3 different kinds. Dark chocolate, milk chocolate, and white chocolate. White chocolate isn't really chocolate, but it tastes good anyway. The alien was quiet for a long moment. Captain Rodriguez, I must ask you a question. Sure, ask away. Are you not afraid of us? Danny thought about it. Not really. I mean, you seem like nice enough people. A little dramatic maybe, but nice, and you have pretty ships. We have come to conquer your species. Yeah, you mentioned that, but why do you want to conquer us? We're just minding our own business, drinking coffee and eating cookies. Because that is what we do. We are the Kethraki. We bring order to the galaxy. Order sounds boring, Maria said from her station. We like chaos, it keeps life interesting. You like chaos? Sure, Danny said. Not the bad kind of chaos like explosions and fires. The good kind like when you're not sure what's going to happen next. Like right now. This morning I thought I was going to have a quiet day delivering coffee. Instead, I'm talking to crystal aliens about fishing and chocolate. This is much more fun. Fun? Yeah, fun. Enjoyable, pleasant, something that makes you happy. We do not understand this concept of fun. Danny and Maria looked at each other with sad expressions. You don't know what fun is? Danny asked. We know duty. We know order, we know discipline. That sounds awful, Maria said. No wonder you guys are so angry all the time. We are not angry. We are ... we are ... double quotes. The alien's voice trailed off. You're what? Danny asked gently. We do not know what we are anymore. Danny stood up and walked to the window. He could see the alien ships all around them, glowing with their soft blue light. Tell you what, Zelthara, how about we make a deal? What kind of deal? You let us finish our delivery run and we'll teach you about fun. We'll show you fishing and chocolate and music and all the good things that make life worth living. This is not part of our mission. Missions are overrated. Trust me, I've been on a lot of them. The best parts of any mission are the parts where you stop following orders and start making friends. The alien ships were moving closer now, but they didn't feel threatening anymore. They felt curious. Captain Rodriguez, Zelthara said quietly, what if our superiors find out we talked to you instead of capturing you? Then we'll deal with that when it happens. But right now, you have a choice. You can be scary alien conquerors or you can be our friends. Which one sounds better to you? There was a long pause. Then Zelthara spoke again, and for the first time its voice sounded almost human. Could we, Dot? Could we really try some of that chocolate? Danny grinned. Maria, fire up the hot plates. We're having a party? General Patricia Williams stood in the Pentagon's war room, watching the biggest screen she had ever seen. The alien fleet was getting closer to Earth every minute. The Ketharaki had brought everything they had. Ships that were bigger than cities. Weapons that could crack planets. Technology that was so advanced it looked like magic. General, we count over 10,000 ships, said Colonel Steve Johnson. He was a tall man with gray hair who had been in the military for 30 years. Each one of those ships could destroy a major city. Patricia nodded and took a sip of her coffee. It was her fourth cup this morning, but she needed it. How long until they get here? 6 hours, ma'am. Good, that gives us time to set up the grills. Colonel Johnson looked at her like she had. Lost her mind, ma'am? Steve, how many people do we have in Washington right now? About 2 million, ma'am. And how many people do you think are in that alien fleet? Steve looked at the screen. Based on the size of the ships, maybe 20 million, so we need to feed 22 million people. Better call the food trucks. Patricia walked to the window and looked out at the city. People were walking around like it was any other day. Some were going to work, some were walking their dogs. A group of kids was playing basketball in a park across the street. Ma'am, said Captain Jennifer Walsh from her station, the president wants to know if we should evacuate the cities. Evacuate to where? If those aliens really want to destroy us, running away won't help. Besides, where would we put 22 million people? So what do? Patricia smiled. We do what humans do best. We throw a party. 2 hours later, the news was everywhere. The government had announced that the alien invasion was being treated as a first contact festival. People were encouraged to come outside and welcome their visitors. The National Guard was setting up food stations. The Air Force was preparing a flyover show. The Navy was bringing their best ships to the harbor for display. Patricia stood on the roof of the Pentagon, watching the city transform. People were carrying lawn chairs and coolers. Families were spreading blankets in parks. Someone had set up a stage in the middle of the National Mall, and a country music band was testing their sound system. General, Steve said, walking up beside her, I have to ask, are we really going to fight an alien invasion with hot dogs? And hamburgers? We're not fighting anything, Steve. We're having a party. There's a difference. But they declared war on us. They declared war on us because they think we're dangerous. The best way to show them we're not dangerous is to invite them to dinner. Steve looked at the alien ships getting closer in the sky. What if they don't want dinner? What if they want to destroy us? Then we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But right now, I'm betting that anyone who travels across the galaxy to meet us is probably curious about what we're like. The alien fleet entered Earth's atmosphere like a cloud of glowing stars. The ships were even more beautiful up close. They moved silently through the sky, casting soft blue light on everything below. Patricia could see smaller ships breaking away from the main fleet, heading toward different cities around the world. "General," Captain Walsh reported, "we're getting reports from all over the planet. The aliens are spreading out over every major city. London, Tokyo, Moscow, Sydney. Everywhere. Any signs of attack?" "No, ma'am. They're just hovering like they're watching us." Patricia picked up her radio. "This is General Williams to all units. Remember, we are not at war. We are hosting visitors. Act accordingly." The Lead alien ship was huge. It was the size of a small mountain hanging in the sky above Washington, D.C. Smaller ships floated around it like fish around a whale. Patricia could see lights moving inside the crystal hulls. Then the voice came. It was broadcast on every radio, every television, every phone in the world. The same musical voice that had talked to Admiral Morrison earlier. "People of Earth," the voice said, "I am High Council Speaker Vexthara of the Kathraki Confederation. We have come to claim your world. We have come to judge your species. You will surrender now or face the consequences." Patricia looked around at the crowds of people below. They were not running. They were not screaming. They were pointing at the ships and taking pictures. A group of teenagers was playing frisbee directly under one of the smaller alien ships. "This is General Patricia Williams of the United States Armed Forces," she said into her radio, knowing the aliens would hear it. "Welcome to Earth. We're having a barbecue. Would you like to join us?" There was a long silence. Then the alien voice came back, sounding confused. "A barbecue? It's a party where we cook food outside and share it with friends. We have hamburgers, hot dogs, corn on the cob, and apple pie. It's a lot of fun." "You are not surrendering?" "We're not really the surrendering type. But we are the partying type. Look around." Patricia gestured to the crowds below. All over the city, people were setting up tables and chairs. The smell of grilling meat was starting to fill the air. A mariachi band had started playing in one of the parks. "We do not understand," the alien said. "We have come to conquer you. We have weapons that can destroy your cities. We have technology beyond your comprehension." "I'm sure you do," Patricia said. "But right now, Mrs. Henderson from Baltimore is making her famous potato salad, and the Johnson family brought their guitar. Would you like to hear some music?" "Music? You know, organized sound that makes people feel good? We have lots of different kinds: rock, country, jazz, classical. What do you like?" We do not understand what you mean by like." Patricia felt sad for the aliens. "That's okay. We can teach you. Music is one of the best things about being alive." Down in the National Mall, an old man named Frank O'Brien had taken the microphone on the stage. He was a retired factory worker who loved to sing karaoke. He looked up at the giant alien ship and smiled. "This one's for our visitors from space," he said. Then he started singing "What a Wonderful World" in a voice that was rough but full of feeling. The alien ship seemed to pause in the air, like they were listening. People all over the city stopped what they were doing and listened too. Some of them started singing along. "What is this?" Vexthara asked, and its voice was different now, softer, more curious. "That's Frank," Patricia said. "He sings at the local bar every Friday night. He's not a professional, but he sings with his heart." "His heart?" "The part of him that feels love and joy and hope, the part that makes him human." The song ended, and the crowd applauded. Frank waved at the alien ships like he was waving at old friends. "People of Earth," Vexthara said, "we came here to judge you. We came here to bring you into our empire. But we do not understand what we are seeing. What are you seeing? Patricia asked. We see creatures who should be afraid, but they are not. We see beings who should be begging for mercy, but they are singing. We see a species that should be cowering in fear, but they are having a party. That sounds about right. Why are you not afraid of us? Patricia thought about it for a moment. Because fear is a choice. We could choose to be afraid, but that wouldn't be any fun. We could choose to hate you, but that would be lonely. We could choose to fight you, but that would be sad. So we choose to be curious about you instead. Curious? We want to know who you are, where you come from, what you like to do, what makes you happy, what makes you laugh. We do not laugh. Everyone can laugh. You just need to find the right thing to laugh about. A little girl named Amy Chun had wandered away from her parents and was now standing directly under one of the smaller alien ships. She was looking up at it with wide eyes, not afraid, just amazed. Pretty, she said, pointing at the glowing crystal. Hull. The ship moved lower until it was hovering just a few feet above the ground. A door opened in the side, and a figure made of light stepped out. It was Zalthara, the fleet commander who had talked to Captain Rodriguez. Amy walked up to the alien and held out her hand. Hello, she said. I'm Amy. What's your name? The alien looked at the small human child. It had conquered worlds, destroyed fleets, brought entire civilizations to their knees. But it had never seen anything like this little girl with her bright eyes and friendly smile. I am Zalthara, the alien said, its voice gentle. That's a pretty name. Do you want to see my drawing? Amy held up a piece of paper with a crayon drawing of spaceships and stick figures holding hands. The alien reached out with a hand, made of crystalline light, and touched the paper. You drew this? Yeah, it's you and me being friends. Patricia watched from the roof as the alien fleet commander knelt down to look at a child's drawing. All around the city, more alien ships were landing. Their crews were coming out looking around with the same curiosity that Amy had shown them. General, Steve said quietly, I think your plan is working. It's not my plan, Patricia said. It's just what humans do. We make friends. Down in the mall, someone had started a volleyball game. A group of aliens was watching, trying to understand why humans were hitting a ball back and forth over a net. One of them asked if they could try. Vexthara, Patricia said into her radio, would you like to come down and join us? We're about to start the three-legged race. What is a three-legged race? It's where two people tie their legs together and try to run without falling down. It's harder than it sounds, but it's really funny. Dr. Helen Carter had volunteered to be taken prisoner by the aliens. She was a scientist who studied how different species think and act. When the government asked for someone to go aboard the alien ship and talk to their leaders, she raised her hand without hesitation. I want to understand them, she had told General Williams. And I want them to understand us. Now she sat in a room that looked like the inside of a giant crystal. The walls glowed with soft light, and the floor felt warm under her feet. Across from her sat High Council Speaker Vexthara, the leader of the alien fleet. Up close, the alien looked like a person made of living starlight trapped inside a shell of clear crystal. Dr. Carter, Vexthara said in its musical voice, I must ask you something. Ask away, Helen said, taking a sip from the coffee cup she had brought with her. That's what I'm here for. We have studied your species for many cycles. We know. You have wars, we know you fight each other. We know you can be violent and cruel. Yet when we came to conquer you, you invited us to a party. Why? Helen smiled. Because war and parties are both choices, we chose the party. But we are your enemies. Are you? You haven't hurt anyone. You haven't destroyed anything. You came here and said you wanted to conquer us, but then you landed and started playing volleyball with our kids. That doesn't sound like enemy behavior to me. Vexthara was quiet for a moment. Its crystal shell flickered with different colors. We do not understand your species. For 3,000 years, we have brought order to the galaxy. When we appear in a system, species surrender immediately. They know our power, they fear us. What happens after they surrender? They become part of our empire. They follow our laws. They serve our purposes. They live in peace. That's not peace, Helen said gently. That's just fear with a different name. Explain. Helen leaned forward. True peace comes from understanding. It comes from friendship. It comes from caring about each other. What you have is control, not peace. Control maintains order. Order prevents chaos. Chaos leads to suffering. But what about happiness? What about joy? What about love? Vexthora's shell dimmed. We do not understand these concepts. I know. That's why you're so confused by us. We don't want to be controlled. We want to be free to make our own choices, even if they're wrong choices. The alien stood up and walked to the window. Outside, they could see the earth below. Cities were lit up like jewels, and small lights were moving between them. Ships, planes, cars, people going about their lives. Your species is chaotic, Vexthara said. You have no central government. You have no unified purpose. You fight among yourselves. Constantly. That's true, Helen said. But we also help each other. We make art and music. We explore new places. We fall in love. We have children. We laugh. We saw the laughter today. We heard the music. We do not understand why you do these things. Because they make us happy. Because they make life worth living. Vexthara turned back to her. We have lived for eons. We have seen the rise and fall of countless civilizations. We have never encountered happiness. Helen felt sad for the alien. What do you do for fun? Fun? You know, things you enjoy, things that make you feel good. Hobbies, games, relaxation. We fulfill our duties. We maintain order, we expand our empire. That sounds exhausting. It is our purpose. But what's your purpose? Not your species' purpose? Your personal purpose? What do you want to do with your life? The alien was quiet for a long time. Its shell flickered through different colors like it was thinking very hard. I do not know, it said finally. I have never considered such a question. Helen stood up and walked over to the window. Can I show you something? What? Look down there. Do you see that park? Vexthara looked where she was pointing. In a small park, a group of children were running around, chasing each other and laughing. Adults were sitting on benches, watching them and smiling. Those children aren't fulfilling any duty, Helen said. They're not maintaining order. They're not expanding an empire. They're just playing, just having fun, just being happy. And this serves what purpose? It serves the purpose of being human, of being alive, of finding joy in simple things. But what do they accomplish? They accomplish being happy. They accomplish being children. They accomplish making their parents proud and their friends laugh. Sometimes that's enough. Vexthara watched the children for a long time. We have never seen behavior like this. In our empire, all beings have specific functions. All activities serve a purpose. What was your function before you became the High Council Speaker? I was a fleet commander. Before that, I was a ship captain. Before that, I was a navigation officer. And before that, I was created to serve the Empire. Helen looked at the alien with compassion. You were never a child? We do not have children. We create new members of our species fully formed, with all necessary knowledge and skills. So you never played? Never explored just for fun? Never wondered what it would be like to be something else? No, such thoughts would be inefficient. But that's so sad. Sad? It's what we feel when something makes us unhappy. When we see someone who is missing something important in their life, you feel sad for us? Yes, you've lived for thousands of years, but you've never really lived. You've never felt joy or wonder or love. You've never made a friend just because you liked them. You've never done something just because it was fun. The alien's shell was glowing brighter now. Dr. Carter, may I ask you a personal question? Of course. What makes you happy? Helen smiled. Lots of things. I love learning new things. I love talking to interesting people. I love watching the sunset. I love the smell of coffee in the morning. I love my cat, Mr. Whiskers. I love reading books. I love discovering something new about the universe. These are all small things. The best things usually are Happiness isn't about conquering the galaxy. It's about finding a warm place to sit and enjoying a good cup of coffee. And this is enough for you? More than enough. It's everything. The communication system in the room crackled to life. It was Zalthara, the fleet commander who had been talking to Captain Rodriguez. High Council Speaker, Zalthara said, we have a situation. Report. Our crew members They are participating in human activities, they are playing games, they are eating human food, they are listening to music, some of them are, I believe the word is dancing. Dancing? Moving their bodies in rhythm to the music. It serves no apparent purpose, but they seem to enjoy it. Helen started laughing. They're having fun. They're learning to be happy. Is this dangerous? Vexthara asked. Only if you're afraid of joy, Helen said. Only if you're scared of your people discovering that there's more to life than duty and order. But what about our empire? What about our mission? What if I told you that you could still have an empire, but instead of ruling through fear, you could lead through friendship? Instead of forcing people to obey you, you could inspire them to follow you. That is not possible. Why? Not? Because ... Vexthara stopped talking. Its shell flickered rapidly, like it was having trouble processing the idea. Helen walked over to the alien and gently touched its crystal shell. Because you've never tried it. You've never given anyone the choice to follow you willingly. But if we give beings choice, they might choose to leave. Some might, but others might choose to stay because they want to. Because they care about you. Because they're your friends. Friends? People who like you just for who you are? People who want to spend time with you. People who would help you even if they didn't have to. We do not have friends. You could. You could have lots of friends. You could have friends all across the galaxy. Vexthara sat down heavily. Dr. Carter, I must confess something to you. What? For the first time in my existence, I am confused. Everything I believed about how the universe works is being challenged. My crew is acting in ways I do not understand. They are happy, and I do not know if this is good or bad. It's good, it's very good. But what about order? What about discipline? What about our purpose? Helen sat down beside the alien. Maybe your purpose is changing. Maybe instead of conquering the galaxy, you're supposed to help it discover happiness. That. S-O-U-N-D-S pleasant. It is. It's wonderful. And the best part is, you don't have to do it alone. You can do it with friends. Would you would you be my friend, Dr. Carter? Helen smiled and held out her hand. I would be honored to be your friend, Vexthara. The alien reached out with its crystalline hand and touched Helen's. For a moment its shell glowed with warm, golden light. I think, Vexthara said slowly, I would like to learn more about this happiness. Then let's go down to the party. There's so much I want to show you. As they left the crystal room together, Helen could hear music and laughter coming from the earth below. The sound of a galaxy learning to be happy. 6 months had passed since the day the Kethraki came to Earth. The world had changed in ways no one could have imagined. What started as an alien invasion had become the greatest cultural exchange in human history. Zell, who used to be called Zalthara, stood behind the counter of a small coffee shop in downtown Washington, D.C. His crystal body had adapted over the months, learning to show emotions through color and light. Right now he was glowing a warm yellow color, which meant he was happy. 1 large coffee with extra cream, coming right up, he said to the customer, a businessman who came in every morning at exactly 8-15. Thanks, Zell. How's the family? The man asked. They are well. My pod mate Crix just learned to make pancakes. He is very excited about breakfast foods. The businessman laughed. Tell him I said the secret is not to flip them too early. I will pass along this wisdom. Dr. Helen. Carter walked into the shop just like she did every morning. She had become something of a celebrity since the first contact, but she still preferred her quiet morning routine. Good morning, Helen, Zell said, his crystal shell shifting to a gentle blue color. Your usual? You know me too well, Helen. Sitting at her favorite table by the window, Zell brought her coffee and sat down across from her. This was their morning ritual now, 30 minutes of conversation before the day began. I received a message from the Galactic Council yesterday. Zell said, "Good news, I hope." "Very good news. 3 more species have disbanded their military forces and asked to join the new peace alliance. The Rigelians, the Centauri Republic, and the Vegan Collective." Helen smiled. "That's wonderful. How many does that make now?" 47 species. In total, all of them want to learn what you call the human way. It's not just the human way anymore. It's becoming everyone's way. Through the window, they could see the city waking up. Humans and aliens walked together on the sidewalks. A group of Kathraki children were playing with human children in the park across the street. A food truck run by a family of blue-skinned Andromedans was serving breakfast to a line of eager customers. "Sometimes I still cannot believe how much has changed," Zell said. 6 months ago, I was a fleet commander preparing for war. Now I make coffee and feel happy about it. Do you miss it? The old life? Zell thought for a moment. I miss the certainty. I always knew what I was supposed to do. Now I have to choose what I want to do every day. And how does that feel? Terrifying and wonderful. Mostly wonderful, Helen laughed. That's what freedom feels like. Admiral Jake Morrison walked into the coffee shop, still wearing his uniform but looking more relaxed than Helen had ever seen. He was followed by a tall, silver-colored alien with multiple arms. "Morning, you two," Jake said. "Helen, I'd like you to meet Ambassador Tishal from the Spiral Arm Coalition. He's here for the peace conference." "Welcome to Earth," Helen said, shaking one of the alien's hands. "I hope you're enjoying your visit." "Your world is remarkable," Tishal said in a voice like wind chimes. "My species has been at war with our neighbors for 200 years. We came here to learn how you ended 3,000 years of conflict in a single day." "We didn't end it," Helen said. "We just chose not to participate in it." "But how? How do you choose not to fight when someone threatens you?" Jake sat down at the table. "We ask them why they want to fight. Usually they don't have a good answer." The Kathraki wanted to fight because they thought order was more important than freedom," Zell added. "But we learned that freedom and order can exist together." "And how do you maintain peace without the threat of force?" Tishal asked. "We make friends," Helen said simply. "It's hard to fight someone who's your friend." The alien's multiple eyes blinked in confusion. "That seems too simple." "The best solutions usually are," Jake said. "We spent so many centuries making war complicated that we forgot peace could be simple." Across the city, in the United Nations building, representatives from across the galaxy were gathering for the first Universal Peace Conference. The building had been expanded with new technology provided by former members of the Kathraki Empire. The conference hall could now hold delegates from over 100 different species. General Patricia Williams stood at the podium, looking out at the most diverse audience in history. There were crystalline beings like the Kathraki gaseous creatures that floated in containment fields, mechanical intelligences that looked like living computers, and dozens of other species that had never been in the same room together before. "Friends," Patricia began, and the word felt natural now. "We are here today not as conquerors or conquered, but as neighbors. We are here to create something new. A galaxy where differences are celebrated, not feared." In the audience, Vexthara sat next to a delegation from the Andromedan Federation. The former High Council speaker had become one of the most effective peace negotiators in the galaxy, using the patience and wisdom of his species to help others find common ground. "The old way of maintaining peace through fear has failed," Patricia continued. "It didn't prevent war, it only postponed it. True peace comes from understanding, from cooperation, from friendship." A delegate from the Rigelian Empire raised a tentacle. "General Williams, how do you propose we handle disagreements between species without the threat of military action?" "The same way we handle disagreements between friends," Patricia said. "We talk, we listen, we find compromise. We remember that we're all part of the same galaxy." "But what if talking fails? Then we try again and again." And again until we find a solution that works for everyone. Back in the coffee shop, Helen was reading messages on her tablet. Letters from scientists across the galaxy asking questions about human behavior and culture. Requests for cultural exchange programs. Invitations to speak at universities on worlds she had never heard of. "You're becoming famous," Zell observed. "We all are. The whole human race is becoming famous as the species that chose friendship over war. Is that a good thing? I think so. Fame means responsibility, though. We have to keep being the example." We sat. Jake looked out the window at the mixed crowd of humans and aliens. "Sometimes I wonder if we're really as peaceful as everyone thinks we are." "We're not naturally peaceful," Helen said. "We're naturally curious. We want to understand things. And once you understand someone, it's hard to hate them. What about the species that don't want to understand? The ones that prefer the old ways? They'll come around eventually. Or they'll stay isolated while the rest of the galaxy moves forward. Either way, peace will spread." A news alert popped up on Helen's tablet. "This is interesting. The Outer Rim territories just signed a non-aggression pact with the core worlds. They've been enemies for 500 years. What changed their minds?" Jake asked. According to this, they both attended a human-style barbecue on the neutral station at Alpha Centauri. They discovered they both love grilled vegetables. Zell's crystal body sparkled with amusement. "Food diplomacy, it works better than weapons." "Everything works better than weapons," Helen said. As the morning progressed, the coffee shop filled with its usual mix of customers. Human office workers grabbing coffee before meetings. Alien students from the new Galactic University comparing notes on human literature. Families of mixed species sharing breakfast together. This was the new normal. This was what peace looked like. Not the absence of conflict, but the presence of understanding. Not the silence of fear, but the sound of laughter shared between friends. Not the cold order of empire, but the warm chaos of a galaxy learning to live together. Helen finished her coffee and stood up to leave. "I have to go. I'm giving a lecture at the university this afternoon." "What's the topic?" Zell asked. "The anthropology of peace. How different species can learn to understand each other." "That sounds like an important subject." "It's the most important subject there is." As Helen walked toward the door, she passed a table where a young human child was teaching a group of alien children how to play a card game. They were laughing and arguing about the rules, the way children do everywhere, that this was how peace really worked. Not through treaties or conferences or grand gestures, but through small moments of connection. Through shared laughter and common interests. Through the simple act of choosing to be kind to someone different from yourself. Outside, the city hummed with the sounds of a galaxy at peace. Ships from a dozen different worlds landed at the spaceport. Street vendors sold food from across the universe. Children played games that mixed human and alien traditions. The great experiment had worked. The galaxy had learned to laugh together. And in that laughter, they had found something worth more than any empire. They had found each other. Helen smiled as she walked down the street, surrounded by the beautiful chaos of a peaceful galaxy. It was, she thought, exactly what the universe was supposed to sound like.